Stay young. We sound all old saying that, huh? You too young for all that, huh?
Got a little salt up on top, you know? Not fire the furnace.
Jacque, it's interesting to think that this is going to be your second West Coast road game of the season. And when you look at just the schedule ahead, what's the tone that you want to set, not just with this game, but with this trip?
Well, I just think overall, just establishing yourself as you get on the road just happens. This is the first game of that road trip, so love for our guys to have a continued focus. We had pretty good focus last 7 games. A lot of those being at home, and so can we take that on the road now? And it starts with your preparation. That's the mental and physical part of that. Being locked into the game plan, and when you're on the road. The runs and momentum, they feel even heavier, so you want to limit some of those and really try to punch first on the road. And so great task for us against a really good team tonight.
It's a welcome back game for Harry Giles III. You spoke so highly of him the other night and just what he brings to this team and to this group and what you've seen from him off season. Just what are you thinking and expecting for the moment for him will be like as he kind of comes back here?
Yeah, I think, as an athlete, when you return to places that you've been and to have an appreciation, and the appreciation is a two-way street, is mutual. Like the fans will cheer for him as he embraced this part of his life in being drafted here. So I think it's always a good thing when you're welcomed back to a former place. That means you left it in a better position than when you were there, and you had lasting memories that were good. And so Harry is a guy that I bet he touched a lot of people, whether it was a security guard, whether it was a locker room attendant, whether it was a coach, whether it was a player. That's just who he is.
You've started to play defensively, I guess, to the level that many people anticipated you might at the beginning of the season. When you guys are defending as well as you have of late, what's particularly working for you guys?
I think overall it's really, Brian, being a concentration thing for him, because we haven't been whole. Like our defensive guys, quote unquote, Lonnie's ability to have athleticism. Dennis is not playing tonight. He's not even here with us tonight. And Ben's played 6 games. Nick had, we were 9-9, and Nick had played 9 of those games. So I think overall, for me, the concentration level of somehow putting this thing together and figuring it out. It was the rebounding piece for us. We've regressed a little bit in that area the last 10 games. But I think this group has just continued to try to figure it out. We have room to grow defensively for sure. And I think that part of it is having more corporate knowledge of how we want to play within our system. I think we've honed in a little bit in the direction that we want to play, the style that we want to play defensively. And now putting those pieces together. We start pretty small, and we don't start our best defensive lineup. And so we've had to figure out ways to be defensive-minded at the beginning of a game. And so I love that challenge and give that challenge to our group. And along the way, we've figured out how to be better game by game, week by week. And we are better the 10 games from game 11 to 20 than we were 1 to 10, which is a good sign.
And Armani and Jalen, are they going to be here through however long it is that Dennis is out? And can you give us kind of an update on how Dennis is progressing? Is there a chance that he could join you on the trip?
Yeah, we haven't ruled out that he won't join us on the trip. Like I said, he's not here tonight, but we got some more games along this trip. My hope is I would love for him to join us at some point, but he's still back getting treatment, and we'll see how he progresses. I like seeing our other guys, Jalen and Armani. The schedule presented themselves. They played yesterday at 1 o'clock, so able to get here in time for shoot around, and so it just fits. We got a back-to-back 3 and 4, so just being cautious and preemptive and having those guys with us right now.
Kind of getting back to your defense, you're saying you don't start your best defensive lineup. How do you approach the matchup with De'Aaron, and kind of from a guard perspective, how do you approach that?
Yes.
With the starters that you have?
Yeah, so I think we're able to lean in, like one dude is not going to be able to cover him. And so that's kind of been the message is this group that's starting, all of you need each other. So Nick can't play Sabonis one-on-one, and Mikal can't play Fox one-on-one. It just can't happen. It won't work for us. So the group has to bind and collaborate and be on one page, aligned together for our defense to work, especially at the start of the game. So I love that challenge to our group. They know that going into the game every single night. But this is a collective effort, definitely. The rebounding piece, activity level, covering for each other, multiple efforts on that end of the floor. It is a collective effort from all 5 guys for this team.
Coach Vaughn, you just mentioned that, your team still has some things to figure it out, but you won, 6 of your last 7 games, so that says a lot right there. What's the recipe to that success right now? Because it seems like they're figuring it out to me.
Yeah, I think guys have really leaned into what we do well. I'm a big proponent of trying to emphasize the strengths that you have, and I think our guys realize what we do well. I think they've really done that on the offensive end of the floor, and we've taken another step these last 10 games of getting the ball into the paint and penetrating more, having great shot selection. That's took our free throw attempt rate from 30th to 16th. That's an unbelievable jump in 10 games. It shows the unselfishness of our guys, the ability for Spencer and Mikal to get downhill. So totally different look than we had the first 10 games. We figured that out, and we'll figure some more out along the way. And I think that challenge to this group of having a freedom and a flow to them to play in transition, which is great for our group. But we've become more of an execution team in the half court also. And they've accepted that challenge and been able to play multiple positions, multiple spots, but still be able to execute. I give our guys a lot of credit for wanting to get better from week to week.
Coach, Bridges has had an uptick over the last 8 games, about 8 points a game. What you alluded to it maybe a little bit with playing inside out a little bit more, but as it pertains to him, is it more face cuts? Is it harder? Is it wide action? What are some of the finer nuances of what he's doing better that have accounted for more of his scoring?
Yeah, Mark, I think you will see it in a lot of different areas. So whether that is pick and roll opportunities for him, I think he's become a better decision maker in pick and rolls. So you'll see that tonight from him. And it's a mix now of running pick and roll to score for yourself and also to draw the defense in and collapse the defense and reward a teammate. It's being able to drive the basketball and get to the free throw line. That ability for him to play in space when guys aren't wrapping their arms around him, I think he's learned how to play and get freedom of movement, and that's helped him get to the free throw line and get downhill. And then our ability to play in transition. The multiple ball handlers. You take a possession against Atlanta the other night. Nick Claxton gets the rebound, pushes it himself, left hand. Mikal runs to the corner, then backdoors and gets a layup out of that thing. And so those are opportunities that, you get rewarded because you ran, but we also get rewarded because we have multiple ball handlers. And so you just see those guys playing for each other on that end of the floor, which is pretty cool, and covering for each other and figuring out the spacing around it. So that part of it I've loved as a coach.
Coach, Mike Brown's starting to talk about De'Aaron as a guy who should be mentioned in the MVP conversation. You talked a little bit about the challenges he presents. Is he the leap that he's making this year, over 30 a game, and some of the other things he's doing is in your eyes, is he starting to become that kind of a player?
Yeah, I'll save my MVP conversation. That's not my kind of thing. But I will say that he is playing at an extreme high level. 30 points a game, that's pretty good in this league right here. And for him to do it on a nightly basis, you see how tough he is. His ability with speed and to get downhill and collapse your defense. His ability to take over a game in the fourth quarter. Special individuals do that. He's done it time and time again, over and over again. You see how confident his team is when he has the basketball in his hands. So fun to watch and tough task for us tonight for sure.
Jacque, going back for Dennis, on Friday night it was stiffness and soreness in that upper back, and now it's a sprain on the injury report. Was there anything that was done in the last 2 days, or anything that you guys saw testing-wise where it was a sprain?
No, it's just I think we were just more specific that it was upper back and that he was trying to, I talked to him before the game in my office and really was trying to prepare for the game and just couldn't. And so I think we've been more specific in how we were diagnosing it, the language behind it. But it just wasn't able to go. And so I hope to see him on this trip. We need him. I mean, the 2 games that he played, you saw how he impacted our defense and our team and our activity level. So he would be ideal tonight to guard Monk or Fox. So that's why I don't jump ahead too much, Megan. That's why right there. You look too far ahead, then what happens? So we'll use the guys that we have tonight and try to make it difficult. You got it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
All right,
Coach.
guys.